Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm just going to be talking again. I think that's just easy to start out first on. I mostly just wanted to talk about writing and my tips. And as well, in the end of the video, I'll be talking about my characters, their lores, and you'll get to see these guys again. But first, we're just going to be talking about how to write. I know it's intimidating and it's a bit scary, but quite frankly, I find it pretty easy, especially if it's something you enjoy. First, you need to figure out why you're doing it. Figure out why you're doing what you're doing. Why do you want to write? Do you want to write to inspire? To just have characters that you just put your characters into a story so that way people can see them, or do you want someone to learn a lesson, to inspire people, or to really just that purpose to just show that there's many sort of different things that could be happening, and that every universe has a lesson, that sort of thing. For me, I find writing very fun, and I just love it, and I just don't take it too seriously, so I don't worry about anything. But oftentimes I find books or story tropes, that sort of thing, and I read them, and then when it's like a certain chapter, and then it goes to the next one, and it's completely different, that's typically because most authors find it's a little, that feel like it's unnecessary to have an outline. But in my opinion, I think it's very necessary, because that way you can stay on track, you know what to do, and it doesn't have to be something so specific down to the exactly what you want. Typically when I write, I start with an outline first, because otherwise I'll veer off topic. I've tried writing without one, and it's just too hard for me. I prefer having an outline so I can stick to it, and so that way I won't forget anything or leave anything out. Because I've seen, let me give you an example, because I feel like this is easier. Okay, let's say I make a character and his name is Steve, not Minecraft Steve. Okay, so let's say his name is Steve and he's got blonde hair. Okay, but then in the next chapter he's a brunette, or he's a redhead, or when I make a character, if he's black, and then automatically he's a different race when I made him black. It doesn't make sense, does it? No. It's because typically people forget the things that they write if they're not doing it at the same time. Or if they're writing a lot and there's a lot of words, so you kind of get lost at how many words you're writing, and then you get distracted, and then you forget things that you were writing back then, I just think it's important to make sure that you remember things, and make sure that your facts are straight, and that you don't forget anything or leave anything out, so that way the reader doesn't get confused. But that's not to say that you can't have fun while writing, and it doesn't have to be something serious or professional, and you don't have to make it unfun by doing that. Personally, what I do is when I make an outline, I don't have anything specific. Or too specific that I have to stay on one thing. So when I make an outline, I usually have a bullet point, and then I say what I want, or really just what I want to happen, and it doesn't have to be something specific, right? So you could just do that, and then what I do after the bullet point is I have a little description of what I want instead, or a little ideas of something I could do, so that way I can make sure that I keep the ideas in mind, or really just to have them down, because either way, if I don't write it down, I'm just going to forget. So I think it's good to keep it written down, so you don't forget. You don't have to worry about remembering, because you can always just look back and say, hey, I did that. So once you've figured out how to write, why you're writing, typically what I do is I find a time when I'm inspired to write, and then I listen to music and I kind of romanticize the writing itself. Sometimes I'll get writer's block, and that's perfectly normal. Don't be afraid about having writer's block, because you're always going to have some sort of mood where you're just not going to want to do something, and that's okay. You can always come back to it when you want, and you shouldn't have any sort of date or some sort of thing to pressure yourself into keep doing it, because then you're just not going to want to do that, and then you're going to give up. Don't give up, just keep trying, and really just don't take things too seriously, because when I first started writing this book I have and I'm still working on, it was back in 2020. I was writing the first draft. I was writing the outline, then the first draft, and then I didn't really like the draft, so I made another one, and then I made 3 different drafts, and I was like, okay, but I don't like the last one either. So I had 3 different old stories, and I wanted things to be different and change, so I redesigned the characters. And when you're in a different mindset, it's good to look back before you have it so published and permanent, so that way you can edit and change things the way you want it to before it goes to some like published or permanent, so you don't have to worry about having to be like, oh, I regret writing in that sort of way. But if you do end up doing that, that's okay too, because that way you can also learn to not be that way anymore, to realize maybe I should keep working on this and make sure I absolutely love it. But there's always going to be a time you might not love a story, but that's not to say that it won't be good, and it's always good to get another person's opinion. Now, off the topic, I said it at the start of the video that I was going to be talking about my lore, or about really just my characters. So we're going to talk about this guy. Let me give you a view. He's about the size of my head, so that's to keep in mind. I just printed him out. You can see the printer kind of sucked, and that's okay. I still love him, and the standee, it's pretty shoddy work, so that's not to say that I don't love it. So his name was originally, when I first designed him, I only ever thought of him with a helmet. With that one, he was kind of boring to me. He just kind of, I was like, oh, I want to imagine him in many different ways. So at first I imagined him as I think a robot, I'm pretty sure. And it was pretty much kind of like sci-fi intergalactic theme. I haven't seen Star Wars, nor did I see it when I made him. So I was like, oh, this is cool. He's sci-fi, right? Sure, I've maybe played Star Wars games, stuff like that. But galaxy and sci-fi isn't a new idea. So, one second. So really, I made him sci-fi, an intergalactic bounty hunter with a helmet, so you never really saw his face. And the story is you won't get to, or typically you wouldn't get to. And this was his latest design, with his face, and his body armor kind of stayed the same throughout the whole time of drawing him. The only thing I really did change was maybe the bodysuit underneath, but I'm not entirely sure. I've had many idea references from Pinterest when I had it, which was a long time ago. And before you say anything, I didn't watch Mandalorian when I made this character. So if this is any resemblance to them, it's purely coincidental, I promise. Maybe now, knocked the mic. Sorry. Maybe now, it might be that way. New design, maybe there's a little bit of inspiration, but otherwise, I don't think that I made it, to be like Mandalorian. Maybe I'll change some things. He's still a work in progress character, but I still love his design and his looks, so I'm going to be keeping that. But I have my book right here of all the characters I have. Well, I only have their designs in the book so far. But his name was originally High Tide. I don't know why I named him that, but it is what it is. I named him 7 now. I just think it fits better. I like the number 7 too, and I just think it's cooler. So, this is 7. And in this book, let me get to the page. Now, in this book, I washi taped a lot of the stuff so that way I could easily change out anything if I redesign. You can see here, it's not a really good accurate drawing of a helmet, so I'm going to be redrawing that as well. And there's going to be sticky notes and like facts that I don't know or haven't decided on yet, his items, and facts that I'm probably going to be keeping. So first off, we have his name, 7, but since his name isn't actually 7, it's his bounty hunter name, I named him Malson Knight Prospero. I don't know why. I like the name. I guess I automatically assumed that I magically came up with that name. I think that's what happened. I was just like, oh, Malson sounds cool. So I did that. But let me read this out to you. At the age of 6, his home planet, blank, because I haven't figured it out yet, was invaded by the Calypsos, destroying everything in sight and murdering his parents. Now, before we get started, I'm going to say that Calypsos is the alien race. Hold on. Sorry, I'm moving the mic a lot. So let me get back to that. Calypsos is the alien race that I have as the antagonist. It is in a way, now this is not like, this is coincidental because I had seen the newest Lost in Space later after making this alien race. It was supposed to be built up of robots after, but at the beginning they were once human. So after that I made them evil, and it was a coincidence that in the Lost in Space the robots were the same way. However, I don't know why I came up with the idea or the name Calypso. I just thought it was cool. I liked the word, so I guess I kept it. And I think I might keep it. I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, let me get back to reading. He was saved by the Intergalactic Bounty Hunter Company, blank, and trained to be a bounty hunter. Now, that is a clear inspiration from Guardians of the Galaxy. I love that. Peter Quill and his backstory. But I might not keep it that way, and I think I like it better if he, instead of being saved by them, he just decides to be with them. You know what I mean? He became the infamous 7, which 7 is supposed to be a intimidating, scary bounty hunter that no one wants to be, around or be caught by, which is another coincidental thing with the Mandalorian. He's male, he, him, 31, a Cancer, pansexual, 5'7". You can see here burns, which gets me to later part. After the home planet invasion, he was permanently scarred by the burns, which is here. And if I can edit this, there's probably going to be pictures around somewhere to show his designs. He lost his fiance, and if you can notice right here, there's a washi tape of E, an extra E, because originally the design was he was going to be marrying a man. I'm probably going to be keeping that because I just but if I design, I'm going to be designing 2 fiancés for him. One female, one male, and whichever I like the best, I'm probably going to keep. But I'd still like the idea of what I did at the start. He was going to marry a man, and then we have his ship, which is the 100, and hit all his items, and then that's the end of that. I haven't exactly finished his whole lore and his story, so I'm going to be talking about that a little bit deeper in a different video because I don't want this to run too long. But unless, I might not, I don't know. If you want to see that, just let me know down in the comments. I will be happy to keep talking about him. But we're going to be moving to this. Now let me tell you something. They are not a female or a male because of their robot. Okay. I like the top outfit, by the way. I don't know about the shorts. I thought they were cute at the time. I'm not sure. But anyways, originally their name was Night Animatronic. Okay. I thought it was so funny for doing that. Now I changed it. Their name is Prototype 1694 or Night Shine. I'm not sure if they're an android or an animatronic. They might just be an android, but I'm not sure. This is what I wrote down though. One of the first androids with artificial intelligence, a personality if you will. This prototype was created by an ambitious pizzeria owner planning to create an all Android staff. Now I'm not sure about wanting to keep it an all Android staff because I would pretty much like them to be the first and only robot in the pizzeria. And what I was thinking was that the pizzeria was just on a planet, nothing else on it. I don't know why. I just thought that was cool because then it was sort of like Pizza Planet, you know what I mean? Programmed to be entertainment, they became the mascot for blank. The name was originally Calmos, I think, or Calmos. It's spelled Calmos. I don't know why. I just came up with it, but I'm going to be changing it because I just don't like it that much. And they're loved by all, of course, because they're entertainment for the kids, the parents. They're just entertainment. Until the Calypsos captured them and in the end tortured them from their many escape attempts. They're neither gender, they, them, and I was thinking like it probably took about 26 years to work on the prototype itself, so they're going to be 26, and it says right here for some reason personality of a Libra. They don't have a birthday, so I guess I just decided to put that. They're bisexual, 5'6", and because I thought it was cute, because I had highlighters too, I put their favorite colors down. And right here, it says their descriptory words: sparkly hair, blue and purple eyes. I was thinking since they're a robot, they can change their eye colors, and a metal faceplate. If you can look up real close, you can see a silver outline on their face. That is a faceplate. Then their vest and long sleeves shirt. I was thinking that would be like their staple outfits, the sci-fi looking vest and then their long sleeve shirt. Or maybe not, I'm not sure. Due to the torture they endured, they are heavily broken and glitching more than any robotic expert could handle, but someone who could fix their programming as well. It's going to be difficult to find them, to be able to be fixed. Stuck with erratic emotions and occasionally acting out their base programming and entertain. Pretty much their base programming is to entertain. So since they're broken, they're probably going to be automatically doing jingles or whatever they can to entertain someone. On the sticky note, I have a list of their skills and their personality traits, which is aerial, hoop dancer, and contortionist, which originally was just contortionist at the start, because I just thought it would be really cool if a robot could contortion their body, and I just thought it just seemed so cool. And then I added aerial hoop dancer because I thought that would also be cool and just be a cool thing to be added. Then I have a list of their items, which I'm probably going to be changing because from there's a little helmet here, but I don't really like that because they're a robot. They don't need to breathe. Why would they need a helmet? Maybe I will keep it. I'm not sure. But Either way, I love their designs, and I'm probably going to be changing this one at least a little bit because they're outfits. But I love my characters, and if you want me to talk about them more, you can comment down below. And thank you so much for watching and staying all the way here. I appreciate it. I probably tend to ramble and talk about random things or get distracted. And if you stuck around, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.